So you're cruising along in your motorhome or you're towing your trailer, the road stretching out ahead of you, a new adventure waiting down the highway. Suddenly you see the familiar X of a railroad crossing sign. How often have you rolled over those tracks without thinking twice? Every 3 hours in the United States, a vehicle or a person is hit by a train. More than 2,300 people are injured or killed every year on railroad tracks. Even more startling, over half of collisions happen at crossings equipped with lights and gates. In other words, drivers ignore or underestimate the warning systems that are there to protect them. And as RVers, we drive vehicles that are longer, heavier, and slower to accelerate or stop than typical passenger cars. A loaded Class A motorhome or a truck and trailer combination can weigh 20 to 30,000 pounds or more. That extra mass means we need more distance to brake. We can be 4 or 5 times longer than a passenger car, meaning we need more room to clear intersections and more time to make decisions. A group called Operation Lifesaver has been working to prevent collisions, injuries, and fatalities on and around railroad tracks since 1972. And they've been really successful. 1972 saw 12,000 incidents at railroad crossings, nearly 6 times as many as 2024. Operation Lifesaver has put out a couple public service announcements created specifically for RV travelers because we face some serious danger. A locomotive engineer cannot simply turn the wheel to avoid a collision. When an engineer sees a vehicle on the tracks, all they can do is sound the horn and slam on the emergency brake. The average freight train weighs 12 million to 20 million pounds and often pulls around 100 cars. Because of that enormous mass, a train traveling at 55 miles an hour can take a mile or more to stop after the brakes have been applied. Even light rail passenger trains need about 2 football fields to stop. So when you see a train, you can't count on it stopping in time. And when you see a train coming down the tracks, you might think you have plenty of time to cross. But physics and human perception disagree. A locomotive is about 17 feet high and 10 feet wide. When something that massive is viewed from an angle at a crossing, it looks like it's moving slower than it is. The parallel rails create an optical illusion, making the train seem further away than it actually is. And modern trains can be surprisingly quiet. When you're crossing train tracks, always expect a train. They can come on any track at any time. The extra weight, height, and length of an RV obviously makes it less maneuverable than a passenger car. Most RVs require greater braking distances. You need to allow more time for the vehicle to slow or stop. You also have to worry about brake fade on long descents and adjust your speed accordingly. Slow down when you see the advanced warning sign for a railroad crossing so you can stop if a train is approaching. And beyond stopping distance, RV drivers need to think about the space between the tracks and the road on the far side of the crossing. Plan for at least 15 feet of clearance between the rear of your vehicle and the furthest rail before starting across. Your RV's back end overhangs beyond the axle, so even if your wheels clear the tracks, the rear bumper could still be in the train's path. So if there isn't room on the far side of the tracks, say there are cars waiting for a light or something, you should hang behind and wait until there's enough room on the other side to entirely fit you before you cross. Know the total length of your rig, add at least 15 feet for your perception to account for that overhang and to make sure there's enough space on the far side before you enter the crossing. More in a moment, but first, this episode is sponsored by eTrailer. Ever feel like finding the right RV part is like searching for a needle in a haystack? Enter eTrailer.com. Whether you're puzzled about which product is right for you or how to install it, eTrailer has got you covered. Their US-based customer service is available by chat or phone 7 days a week, and with expert Q&As, helpful articles, and tons of reviews and install videos, you'll tackle any RV problem with confidence. eTrailer strives to get their hands on everything they sell, and their website is full of overviews, reviews, buying guides, and tutorials. And it's not just RV parts, it's towing and vehicle accessories, camping supplies, and more. Head to the link in the description and get free shipping on orders over $99. All right, another big issue for RVs at railroad crossings: low ground clearance and high profile crossings. Some railroad crossings are humped. The tracks sit on a raised bed that's higher than the roadway. The long wheelbase of a motorhome or the overhang of a trailer can cause the vehicle to bottom out or high center on the rails. It doesn't take much, just one stuck axle can leave you stranded. I nearly learned this the hard way. Years ago, I was driving our first RV, our school bus conversion, through rural Mississippi on our way to Buccaneer State Park on the Gulf Coast. We didn't have an RV specific GPS back then. We just followed the shortest route Google suggested. The route it sent me down crossed a railway on a steep hump. And as we eased over the tracks, I felt the sickening scrape of the bus's undercarriage on the rails. Thankfully, our bus had a high stance and a skid bar below the drive shaft, and we kept moving. If we'd been towing a trailer or driving a less forgiving motorhome, we could have been stuck across the tracks, which, as you can imagine, would be a frustrating situation due to the damage to the undercarriage of your RV. But of course, more importantly, it'd be incredibly dangerous if a train started coming. Today, I use an RV Safe GPS, and I also confirm our routing with a motor carrier's atlas that shows routes that are friendly to semi-trucks, so I can avoid a whole host of hazards, including low clearances and high-profile crossings. You can get a Garmin GPS designed for RV routing or app-based navigation from apps like RV Life Pro. They're not perfect, but planning ahead helps. When in doubt, slow way down, approach at a 90-degree angle, and if possible, let someone out to spot whether you have enough clearance. And if you see the high-profile sign, take another route. Operation Lifesaver says if any part of your vehicle gets stuck at a crossing, you should get everyone out and far away immediately, and then find the blue and white sign and call the number. It's called the Emergency Notification System, or ENS sign, and it lists a telephone number and the crossing's 6-digit Department of Transportation ID number. If your vehicle stalls or you see a problem with the lights or gates, call the number, tell the dispatcher the crossing ID, and they'll alert approaching trains. And if you can't find the sign, of course, call 911. So here's the short version of all of this and some additional pointers. Plan ahead, use an RV Safe GPS or map to choose routes with the fewest crossings and avoid high profile or low clearance crossings whenever possible. Slow down when you see the advance warning sign. The yellow circular railroad crossing ahead sign tells you to prepare. Start braking early and leave extra distance. Eliminate distractions. Turn off the radio and ask passengers to be quiet when you're approaching a crossing. Look and listen for a train. Freight trains don't follow set schedules. Stop at least 15 feet from the nearest rail. Never drive around lowered gates. Over half of collisions occur at crossings equipped with automatic signals because some drivers just choose to drive around the gates or run the flashing lights. Some drivers suffer from normalcy bias. They cross the same tracks every day without seeing a train, so they become complacent. Others are distracted by music, conversations, or mobile devices. Interestingly, in about 25% of crashes, the vehicle actually runs into the side of the train, often because the driver's traveling too fast for conditions or overdriving their headlights at night. Look both ways twice. At multiple track crossings, wait after one train passes because a second train might be approaching. Don't rely solely on signals. Use your eyes and your ears. And if you're driving a manual transmission, don't shift gears while crossing. Shifting could cause you to stall on the tracks. Stay in a gear that allows you to maintain steady speed as you cross. Cross quickly and smoothly. Once you commit, keep moving. Don't stop on the track. Don't pass other vehicles near a crossing or attempt to beat a train. And ensure clearance on the far side. Remember that 15-foot rule. If the road ahead has a traffic light or congestion, wait until it's clear. If you're towing, add extra space for your towed or trailer. Be aware of obstacles and watch for the high-profile, high-center sign. If the crossing looks steep or rough, consider taking a different road. Approach a crossing at a straight angle. If you're unsure, get out and check. If you stall or get stuck, get everyone out immediately, move away, call the number on the ENS sign or 911, and don't attempt to remove your vehicle or retrieve belongings. Lives matter more than possessions. Trains crisscross our country, moving people and goods. We as RVers often encounter train crossings in rural areas, and they weigh millions of pounds. They can't stop quickly. They're quieter and faster than they appear, and collisions with them are often fatal. As RVers, we drive vehicles that are longer, heavier, slower to stop, so we need to play the long game. planning our routes, slowing down, listening for trains, and respecting every signal. See tracks, think train. For more information, check out Operation Lifesaver at oli.org and share this message with some other RVers. It could save their lives. Thanks everyone for being here. Hit the like button if you got something out of this video. Subscribe if you want more like it, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.